Brother teacher here. You all know, we all know that yesterday was the funeral slash memorial service of the late black man who was killed by a police officer in Minnesota, uh, George Floyd. Not a whole lot to say about it. The people in America know what occurred, and not only that, the people across the world have been exposed to what has occurred. I'm so happy. I'm so elated. I am proud to see that people are actually speaking out in volume. In time past, in the past several months, several years, even several decades, this was not the case. All of the atrocities that have occurred and enacted or carried out against the black man in America have gone virtually unanswered. There was no response by those people in position. And more specifically, law enforcement, all of the leaders, all of the captains, the police chiefs, the mayors, and even the governors of states turned deaf ears to the cries of black people and their sufferings. And as I began to say, that it is encouraging. And I'm happy and I'm proud of those individuals that are standing up finally. Howbeit, it's a terrible thing still. We have a long way to go. And what I mean by that is this. Why did it take so long? Why did it take so many killings of black people in the streets by police officers to finally have one individual killed here in the recent months, George Floyd, to have people decide to speak out and to speak out on a grander scale? I can't get into the hearts and the minds of all of those individuals that took the charge and began to say enough is enough. But it happened. And I am optimistic that the death of George Floyd is the beginning of a better situation, not just simply for blacks, but for all. And I'm grateful again to our white brothers and sisters that took the time out of their days, away from work, even away from family, to don their mask because of COVID-19, to don their proper clothing for whatever the situation was, the weather and so forth, and depending on where you were, and also to bring their message, their voices, their signs. I can't breathe. Black lives matter. All lives matter. No more police brutality. And all of the different magnitudes of expressions to express the same thought. Get your foot, get your knee off of our neck, as Reverend Al Sharpton so kindly placed it during the memorial service. So, where do we go from here? Do any of you have an idea what's going to happen from this day forward after the memorial service? Now, I've heard some police chiefs, some mayors talk about some additional training for police officers. I want to get you to think about this before I go. Can you train someone to not hate? Is there any type of police training for a police officer that is a racist, that hates black people? No, that's the answer. The answer is no. So these individuals still exist on our streets, wearing the uniforms of police officers. The best remedy for this is to have those police authorities, those people in position, police chiefs, primarily, and even mayors of cities, to take a good, thorough look at the records of their present police staff. And if any of them, male or female, have any type of record that indicates that they have behaved in such a way as to mistreat people of color, African Americans, if you will, or black folks, then they need to be scrutinized on a daily or simply a regular basis. And if anything were to come up in the future, they need to be called on the carpet and spoken to in no uncertain terms. This will not be tolerated on this force, or you will be removed. That's a start. They know who their officers are. They know which of their police officers have attitude problems or hate issues. They know this. And if they don't know it directly, the officers that serve right alongside them know. There should be internal investigations on a daily basis, if necessary, to weed out and remove those bad cops until we have a near decent police force in every city, in every state. It's never going to be 100% because it's impossible to read people's minds. But it's a start. We need to get rid of the bad police officers. It's that simple. You see, George Floyd died, and he was the catalyst for this movement. God bless him. But there are still a whole lot of unanswered black deaths before George Floyd. Mr. Aubrey died not too long before that. And the other young lady who was shot and killed in her home by a police officer, that hasn't been answered. And what about Sandra Bland, Eric Garner, Sam Dubose in Cincinnati, Tamir Rice in Cleveland, Laquan McDonald in Chicago? And the list is so lengthy, I can't mention all of them right now, but you know what the point is. Walter Scott in South Carolina, shot in the back while he was running away from a traffic stop. Shot and killed. It's too many, ladies and gentlemen. Now I want to say this. I'm just one man, but I'm one man amongst many hundreds of thousands of us, black and white, who don't want to tolerate this anymore, who are fed up with this behavior by police officers, those people who are supposed to be representative of our communities, who have been picking and choosing who they want to befriend in the community and who they want to hate in the community and then abuse. A portion of the police department, not all, I've said that before as well. There are good police officers, there are decent police officers, male and female, but there are some bad apples, as someone pointed out, bad apples, and they have to be removed. And I want them to know you are being watched, brother and sisters. If that's the case, you are being held to account. No more blatantly killing black folks. No more blatantly beating up and abusing teenage black children and women and elderly of any ethnic group. Just saw a video not too long ago, within the past hour, where there was an elderly gentleman pushed down by a police officer, peacefully protesting, in his 70s, knocked to the ground. It seemed as though he was unconscious. One police officer went to aid him, and the other police officer told him to keep it moving. You see, people of conscience don't do this. Police officers that are decent don't do this. This is not the behavior of a decent cop. It's not. So apparently the cop that told him to keep it moving had authority and or position and maybe tenure over that particular police officer. And he felt intimidated and obligated to follow what he said. But it shouldn't be that way, ladies and gentlemen. This is the problem. Therein lies the problem. You still have institutional racism within the police departments. It's not going to go away overnight. But what we can do is continue to speak out against these atrocities, and I hope that they put in force federal legislation so that police officers in every state, every city that behave in this manner from this day forward are prosecuted immediately, just like they prosecute black folks immediately. They go searching through black people's records, trying to vilify you, trying to dig up dirt from your past when you was 12 years old to get a conviction. They don't do that for police officers. It's going to start now. I guarantee you it's going to start now, because we have been abused. I've said it before. We have been misused. We have been prostituted as human beings. We have had money extorted from us to fill the pockets of other people who are not deserving of our sweat equity. Falsely accused, falsely having evidence placed on black folks, falsely imprisoned, disproportionately punished, as opposed to or in contrast to our white counterparts. All because of the color of our skin. These days are over. This is the judgment time of the Creator, the Most High. You don't have to worry about the people alone, my friends. And I'm speaking to these bad cops. This is God's judgment falling upon this nation right now. It's not going to go away. He has allotted a certain amount of time on this planet for evil. I don't care if you're religious or spiritual or not. It's the truth anyhow. Just pay attention to the world in which we live. All of the things that have been hidden in the dark are now coming to light. And you better get yourself together, because God, Yahweh, Allah, Jehovah is going to get you together. And there's not going to be anything that you can do about it. There's not going to be anywhere you can turn but the right way. This is Brother Teacher. That's all I had to say. Love one another. Love your families. Love your neighbors. Treat your family and your neighbors as you want to be treated. And let it come from here. Don't fake the funk. Don't pretend that you care about your neighbor and you really do not. Ask the Creator, the Almighty, to teach you how to love properly, unconditionally. I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.